10 years. 10 years. Wow. Okay. Well, today marks the 10-year anniversary of me making the very first Werewolf channel. Now, the stat sheets will probably show that this is not the 10-year anniversary of the current Werewolf channel, which is true. But the Werewolf 1.0, the original one, this is technically the 2.0. It was the 2.0. Now it's just the main channel. But, and we'll get into the reason why all that stuff is the way it is. But yes, Werewolf brand name of Werewolf. It started out as a gamer tag over on Xbox Live and Xbox 360 days when I was first getting online, doing anything online. Um, Needed a name that would, it was short, sounded cool, would look good in all capital letters. Which for a long time, actually, funny enough, that's not exactly how I spelt it either. It never had one in there until I actually jumped in and started creating more of a brand name out of it. I noticed that there was other accounts with the name Warwolf, but spelt with a U and an L and all that. And I was like, okay, so, but 10 years, 10 long years. It's actually kind of funny. I have been making content on the internet for longer, for like majority of the time that I've been alive. It's kind of crazy. I've been actually making content longer than I haven't been, and yes, the channel is, it's, yeah, my channels are small and all that stuff compared to other people who have millions of followers and subscribers and viewers and all that stuff. Um, so one thing that I definitely, it's because I keep such a variety channel, and variety channels are always the slowest growth. They're always the hardest growth because people, they see one thing, and then if you're not consistently doing that, they don't have a reason to jump back in. But um, I definitely have tried to make multiple series over different games and tech stuff and everything over the years, so that everybody has something to come back to. Which is the reason why the sub count has been growing more this year than it has in the last few years now. Um, so the reason why the sub count and the numbers aren't bigger, there is actually a reason for it. So I had actually a decent channel with the original Werewolf channel, into the point where I was actually making money on it for a few years. I think it was roughly around 3 years. I don't know. That was a long time ago. Um, so let's see here. So I got connected. To the start of the Werewolf YouTube stuff and just making a channel on YouTube. So back then, 10 years ago, back in 2014, Twitch was around, live streaming was around, but none of us really knew, like, all of us that were watching YouTube all the time, we didn't really realize what exactly a live stream would be. For me, I thought it was, if you're a live streamer, it was basically the same thing as having, you're on like a TV contract or something. I didn't realize that it's like anybody could do it, um, because I grew up watching regular network television and everything. So to have a live show and to do that, and being live, this is not just about YouTube. Um, Again, it's 10 years, like the YouTube channel, and 10 years on YouTube is actually overall live streaming. And because I've done live streaming on YouTube, as you know, I've been currently live streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. um, but when I first started out, the whole like AdSense revenue stuff was actually fairly new. So AdSense revenue led into networks being created. So then the networks would be like, oh, well, we can fight copyright claims. We can give you music. We can, do this and that, and give you contacts with, if I was part of a gaming network, and the gaming network was supposed to give you access to, so I signed with them, and this was the reason why I had to give up the original Werewolf channel and restart. And now I've been steadily just increasing this. There's a video called the Werewolf 2.0 channel, and it's the very first video that was on this channel here. And so basically, what ended up happening was I signed with a network, and what I ended up figuring out, and again, this is where it's like 10 years, you're going to have some lessons learned. I have not done a perfect, business strategy with the channels and all that I run. Uh, but because I haven't done a perfect strategy, I know a lot about the business behind all of this stuff because it just makes you have to learn. It makes you have to grow and get better at what you're doing. So I never did any contract negotiations. I literally just did through like emails and such. Never talked on the phone with anyone. It was just sat down, looked up what what do I need to start making. Well, first off, what do I need to make ad rev on YouTube? And back then it was actually a lot easier. But also back then I hit 1,000 subscribers very quickly. Now, because everybody wants to be a YouTuber, everybody wants to be a Twitch streamer, everybody wants to be a live streamer, everybody wants to be a content creator, everybody wants a piece of that pie. It's so much harder now. It's just, I remember getting 1,000 subs within, I think it was like 6 months or something like that. And then for 3 years, I made little bits of paychecks here and there, but also it was a lower. And this is the biggest thing that I'll ever kick myself on is giving up that original channel, because I would have probably 3 times the amount of subs as what I do now, because I was in the algorithm already. And that's the reason why the WARWU1F 2.0 channel is taking so much longer to get this channel up to that same point, which I'm actually still not. Actually, well, no, I think I have more views, but I have less subs. And it's just because there is just so much more going on with YouTube and everything. So after 10 years looking back, it's kind of great seeing just how much the platforms have grown and how much more we can do with all this stuff. Anybody can have a TV show essentially, because YouTube, Twitch, a Rumble, or whatever whatever the case is, it's all TV shows. It's all a network. It's all it's like you are on network television. You're making your own show, except for that's the thing, you are making it yourself. There are some people who have production teams and people helping them out with it, but for all of us that are actual true diehard content creators, we do everything ourselves. And yes, I'm going to make this as uncut as possible. I had to pause for anyways. So after 10 years, again, it's kind of crazy seeing just how much everything has grown, and just how far the platforms have come in the way of, now it's, you post a video and there's a chance that 1 million people can see it, where before, when somebody had 1 million subscribers, they were like top tier celebrity status. And now if you have 1 million subscribers, it's just like, oh yeah, you're a decent sized YouTuber. So it's just kind of crazy seeing how that everything has evolved. And again, I do wish I still had my original WARWU1F channel, because there was a lot of comments, and there was just having something that was from the original YouTube days there. I unfortunately had to shut it down because of, and this is a major lesson in this video here, is business wise on YouTube, do not sign with anyone, do not sign a deal or anything with any companies. Always do kind of a per project basis in essence. Don't let companies ever have control over anything. And that was one thing when I was younger. I was also I was dealing with family stuff, so I was kind of out of it too, not sleeping proper and just not thinking about things and just trying to okay, how can I grow the channel and make more cash off the channel and all that stuff. And as soon as I got into thinking how can I make more money off the channel, that's when I made my biggest mistake, and signing with a network, and the network basically just screwed me over. That's what led to the WARWU1F 2.0 channel. It took probably a couple of years off, in all honesty, and then came back, and it's just been content galore ever since then. I've taken little bits and pieces of time off, but not really. It's been more time consistently uploading than I've taken maybe a couple months off here and there. I think I took 1 year off at one point because I wanted to see if I could just live stream and just do the Twitch thing, because Twitch, I Twitch is probably the best platform for live streaming. YouTube is best platform for making recorded content. Just the way it is. Um, and again, in 10 years, it's hard to imagine what it's going to be like in the next 10 years with everything. Um, we're probably going to get more AdSense rev and all that stuff, but yeah, like I said, 10 years on the platform with the WARWU1F channel, and I've learned so much or this last 10 years. Like the next 10 years would be basically just making even bigger projects, doing so much more, cooler editing stuff and everything. My editing style went from just copy paste and chop up video clips and all that. And also the hardware that we use too is so much better. But I went from that to actually, being able to layer things, to chroma key, as you can see with my background removal stuff and everything. So yeah, it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of crazy because I didn't start off right from the beginning of all the content creator craze, but I definitely was like, because in all honesty, I didn't have a computer to be able to do it with. So I started the channel off with a Acer laptop back in 20, I mean, it was 20, I'll say it was probably 2012 when I actually started making content, because I was posting stuff not on the YouTube, but like on social media and whatnot, and like Facebook and all that. I think maybe also Twitter I might have been posting on too, because I've had Twitter since like 2008. But Facebook was the place where everybody would just post up gaming clips and all that. And yeah, it was because I was focused on doing music before YouTube and tech and gaming and everything. I was trying my hardest to do music stuff. So that's where the audio side comes in. It's like 4 or 5 years, maybe even 6 years of audio engineering. I always say 10 years of audio engineering because technically it basically was, because I was messing around with audio, recording audio stuff since like 2003, 4. And then by like 2014, it was, yeah. Because 2010 was tail end of high school for me, and then we did like 3-4 years. Me and my buddies were trying to just record music stuff, doing mixtapes and all that. And that once I figured out that wasn't gonna, the music industry is very fickle and there's no way that we could do that, everything kind of fell apart. I was surfing YouTube just to see, what's my next play here? What else do I do? Do I not do any more content creation? And then it was probably 2013, maybe tail end of 2013 is where I found out about YouTube, the business side of YouTube, basically. I figured out about AdSense revenue and all that stuff. And that's when I basically, I got myself the first little easy cap, plugged that thing into a Xbox 360, grabbed a Guitar Hero microphone, like a stage mic, and yeah, off and away, record Call of Duty gameplay afterwards. Never live commentary because I couldn't. The computer couldn't handle doing both at the same time. It was a very cheap computer, a little laptop, and then finally, like maybe a year or two later, got an Acer mini desktop. A mini, not even a mid tower, a mini. No graphics cards, anything else like that. Played some games on it, recorded a bunch of stuff, took forever to render because it was rendering off the processor. It was like an i3 processor. And that was the first YouTube videos. You can see them on the channel still. Just started upgrading equipment from there. And over this last 10 years, just upgrading computers and equipment and just figuring out the cheapest way of possibly doing all this stuff. So that's the reason why whenever you hear me go, oh, but this works really well, and it's just know that it's balling on a budget. That's always my catchphrase for everything. So yeah. It's going forward. 10 years. I don't feel like I'm quitting anytime soon. In fact, like today I have a whole bunch of stuff lined up to record and probably edit and upload and everything. But that's one of the things that I kind of wanted to get into too, is now 10 years later, what you don't realize, or what we didn't realize 10 years ago, was to do all this, exactly all, because we've all just been having fun with this. It was never about making money. It was never about the business part of things. What a lot of us did not realize is that you have to learn how to be do Photoshop really well to make a really good thumbnail. You have to learn how to be a writer. You have to learn how to be a producer. You have to learn how to be an editor. You have to be able to, publish your stuff, be on-screen talent, be able to talk on a microphone. Like, there's so much skills and stuff that you got to learn to jump into this and do it a proper way now. It never used to be a proper way. It used to be just jump on here and do the thing. And again, we were just all having fun with it. Now it's kind of business wise, and it's everybody just takes this stuff so seriously. And because of that, sometimes I feel like the creativity, this 10 years later, the creativity kind of gets stifled on there. There's a lot of creativity, but there's a lot of people that just copy out from other things. And so hopefully in the next 10 years, we see the creativity side of this stuff start to kind of come back and do its thing again. But it's definitely, it's been an interesting ride, because you just see, I've seen so many trends come and go. I've seen so many, you have to kind of, there's, in a sense, you want to follow the trends of like, okay, but you want to make it your own every time. And if there's one piece of advice over 10 years, I would say that when I've seen the most success on my channels, it's when I take what is popular but I make it my own. And what I mean by that is, okay, if this is the trend, take a theme or something that you are a big fan of, and take that theme or just make a brand new theme if you can possibly. That's the ultimate creativity, is make your own theme, make your own vibe and all that stuff, and then put it in with that trend somehow. I would say also, you don't need to make everything comedy. You can be serious at times. You should have a little bit of comedy in there, but definitely be serious sometimes, and then be serious about your creativity. If you are really into making something, make it, and make it the best you can, because it's going to be on the internet. If you're posting it, it's going to be on the internet, and it's going to make sure it's the best thing, because who knows, that thing could trend and be picked up by everyone else, and you're the original ones. But also, come to think about that, being the original one to do something almost doesn't matter anymore. It used to. That's kind of something that changed now. It's like whoever has the biggest mouth and whoever can put on the biggest show around an idea, whether or not it's their idea or not, they can steal the idea and make it their own now. It doesn't matter who posted it first. And that is something that I feel like is kind of in a bad spot with all this stuff too. It's like the original person might not even get credit for creating this thing. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting time period to be in, and an interesting era to be in with content creation, because everybody wants to be so saturated now. Everybody always says that. It's one of those kind of buzzwords, if you will. And everybody says it's saturated, and it is, but that just makes it even easier in a way, because the way that the market is saturated on YouTube and Twitch and this one, that, all these platforms, they got so many people on there, but most of everyone does the same thing over and over and over again. So break the mold. And I think that is where, just like it was, back in the 80s or whatever, where everybody was a glam rocker, a metalhead, or something like that, but there was certain bands that broke through and they broke the mold and they made their own thing while doing what was cool, but then they created something unique to their own out of it. And I feel like that's where we're kind of heading with all this content creation, is we see a million people doing the exact same thing, but then there's a few of them. That's the reason why I could do every single thumbnail can be on, like, doing something like that. I don't. It's only when I'm excited about something. I am real and authentic as possible as I can possibly be on things. I try and say 3 things that, are kind of cool about a product, even if I don't like it and whatnot. There's a lot of channels out there, they just dunk on everything. Again, it's me being real, but also that's my thing. I like to try and find at least something that's cool with everything that comes out. So, even if I don't like it, I might hate the thing. I might hate the product, but I'd be like, I guess it has, something, it's shiny. So yeah, again, there's I don't know. This is just like I said. It's a 10-year. It's where I've come from, where we're going. Actually, I should probably go into where we're going. So where we're going is basically I'm just going. My focus on the WARWU1F channel is just to keep building, keep going, and we're gonna try and. Again, it's a lot of people would look at it like, wow, you failed 10 years and you don't even have 1,000 subs on this secondary channel, even though I had 1,000 subs before. I've even heard it in chat before too. Somebody's like, well, why aren't you bigger than you are? Because there's so many more people doing this. And in that way, because there is so many more people doing this, if you can grow your channel bigger, you're actually working twice as hard now, and your skills are actually twice as good as what it used to take before. Everybody's so much better at this stuff. Even us that have been around for a long time, we're so much better than we used to be. So, again, 1,000 subs on the channel, 2,000 subs, whatever the case may be, 4,000, 5, 10, whatever. Where I'm at and where everybody is at with their channels, this is probably the biggest takeaway from doing this stuff for 10 years. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're enjoying what you're doing and you're making cool stuff, and there is 10 people that show up to watch your video, if there's 100 people, if the thing goes viral or whatever, and then you fall off and you don't have another video that hits 1,000 views or anything like that, as long as you're making something that you want to see on the platform, there you go. That's the best thing that you can aim for. And then you just hope everyone else kind of clicks in. Again, even if you got 10 people, that's 10 people. Think of it like 10 to 100 people in a room watching something that you made. It's a pretty good feeling. So, yeah. Anyways, 10 years and still going strong. Probably do another 10 years. We'll see. That'd be what, 2035, something like that. So, yeah. We will keep on going. I'm going to have plenty of stuff. Even today, I'm going to be uploading, have new videos up. So I think that'll do it for this one. 10 years in the books. Let's go for another 10. Why not? I'm feeling good. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, I will see you next time.